Okay, Frank from yeah. You can maybe just a short introduction of who you are. You
Sure.
just had a really nice presentation here on GH at Stockholm, Svensk idrottspsykologisk föreningskonferens och GHs 200-årsjubileum. So yeah, just maybe a short introduction of who you are.
Sure. I am a professor of psychology and management at Goldsmiths College at the University of London, and I'm the director of our Institute of Management Studies. And a lot of the research that I work on is ACT-related, acceptance and commitment therapy, and particularly how that can be applied to job performance and mental health in the workplace.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And one thing I thought about during the presentation is when you work applied with athletes, some athletes might just, you know, if you talk mindfulness and stuff, they read about it in the books, and mindfulness for them are like, okay, now I have to sit still for 15 minutes, maybe 3-4 times a week, and try to be mindful, and they feel like that is something that they have. For the first, they might have hard to just sit still, and for the second, they might be really afraid of what happens when they actually try to feel the feelings that they have. So
Yes.
what you thought about how to work with motivating them to really be mindful?
I mean, I think some of it is it's like to a degree going to the gym. You know, it's very difficult to see the benefits just immediately.
Yeah.
But if you go, if you stick with it a little while, I think you begin to see that there's improvement there. And also it's to position it, not that, you know, this will definitely be great for you, but test it out, see, have a go at doing it, with the knowledge being that, like building up, you know, your biceps, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to see the benefits, but odds are you will see benefits. And also, I think you don't have to be mindful just by sitting still and doing nothing, but even walking about, being mindful walking, being mindful listening to music. They're all different types of ways that people can be mindful, and some will be better for some people and some for others.
Yeah, thank you. And the presentation before you at DC talked about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
And if I translate that into ACT, maybe it's just, you talked about the values, that you have values on your own, and it's nice to be aware of your values. And today, a lot of things athletes are in media. They are like every year in Sweden we give them prizes for best of efforts, and you know, everything on Facebook and Twitter, and the media is all over. What you thought about how does that makes it harder to work on ACT? Or
well, I think some of that is there, and we can't get away from that. And so people might like that, but I think it's important from an ACT perspective, and to tap into what we heard on autonomous motivation, that if we can identify the values that we have, and we can go after those values, in addition to thinking about, you know, what people are saying on Facebook or that sort of stuff. But if we can tap into what else matters to us in our lives, and why we enjoy, or what we enjoy about doing what we do in terms of sport, then I think one can get motivation from that, in addition perhaps to some of those external things such as winning awards.
Yeah, so basically just do it and be aware of what you're doing is maybe other values and not your own. So connect them to your own values.
Yes, connect them, and to really identify your own values.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you value one aspect of the kind of work that you do more than another. What do you value? What do those kind of benefits, maybe money, maybe, you know, whatever it may be, what do they bring you that is very meaningful to you? Being aware of what's meaningful to you, both in the sport you play and in other aspects of your life, I think that's probably the most important thing.
And the last question is that you, I don't know, do you do sports For yeah.
I go to the gym 3
Yeah.
times a week. But
Yeah,
that's about it.
that's not Olympic or no. No, but anyway, you are a performer in a way. You actually traveled here to Sweden, and you had a nice presentation here. So, just if you just describe what ACT gives you in your life, in your work, and like how that actually improves maybe your performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can actually focus on the performance maybe because.
Well, I mean, I think in many, many different ways. One, the values bit of it makes me think, what about my job do I like the best? Where do I want to take my career? What interests me? And if I'm able to identify that, it's much more motivating for me to work on that. You know, I'm able to, I like investing time and energy in getting better at what I do. So that's very motivating, and ACT kind of helps me with that. And it also helps me with being mindful. The more mindful I am, the better I am, I think. You know, I think that's very important. So it helps me to manage any self-doubt that I have, any anxieties that I have, which is important. ACT also reminds me that there are other areas in my life that I value greatly, and that if I pursue those as well, then I'm going to feel better, have a rounded life, and therefore probably perform better in my work as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice lunch now and a safe trip back home.
Thank you very much.